Yo, what's up, guys? We currently have been having a whole bunch of collabs. Actually, we have 2 collabs every year. But what was actually the best collab? Let's first list all of the collabs that we had so far in reversing order. Lord of the Rings, Tekken 8, Demon Slayer, JJK with the Magoomer, the Witcher collab, Assassin's Paris with 1 S less. There is already a lot of S's in it. I gave it another one. Followed by the Cookie Run Bull Crap, Kingdom, and then the Street Fighter. And technically, it was a collab. It's not really notified that much as being a collab, but the very first collab in the game was actually the collab with Sylvia. She came from some different game, like all of the Neostone agents and fighters came from a collab, which I don't even remember what it was exactly, but they're not really notified. It's like, hey, this was a collab. They were just added in as the unit. So let's just claim these as the collabs that are out there. So that has been 8 collabs thus far. That is quite a lot already. What was the best collab? In which order would I rank them? And would I rank them by strength of current units in the game, in the current meta? Or would I rank them by having the most fun in the collab or the most hype on the collab? Well, one thing that we can actually do, which is kind of fun, is we're going to bring the teams to World Guild Battle. And we're going to be using a collab-only team for every collab. Sure, for some I have a little bit more LDs, for some a little bit less. Some make a little bit more sense to be paired with other units rather than with a full-on collab. But I'm going to be using collab-only teams, and I'm going to be using that for all 8 different collabs. And the 2 best teams of the first iteration I will be reusing because that makes it 10, simply as that. But also let me know in the comments, which was your favorite collab? And at the end of the video, I will be ranking those in order of what collab I like the most. So let's first find a team that doesn't feel like, okay, I'm speed contesting on legit every hit out there, because that's probably not gonna be so easy. Of course, also some collabs are better for RTA or PvE or anything like that. And we're now trying things out in Siege, but we'll see how it goes. So first of all, let's get a team for Lord of the Rings. So for the Lord of the Rings team, we're going to be fighting this first team over here with the Aragorn, Gandalf, and the Legolas. I'll rune them all up in a second. Then moving on to Tekken 8, in which we will use the following team with a double Paul with a speed lead, Paul with the attack bar gain, and also preventing this thing from hitting the other 2. And then this thing for pushbacks, and this thing for the Oblivion. Demon Slayer team, which is going to be the Nezuko that is hard to stun for these 2 units to stun, hard to debuff unit over here. And this thing cannot be stunned neither, but could be hit by you, but does have the extra life, so let's see how that works out. Then following that up with the JJK, so of course we gotta be using that Light Gojo right here. For the JJK team, we will have the Light Gojo for the strips, this one for the dots and any kind of shape and way of that, into a skill 3 for a lot of damage over here, and let's see if that can actually kill a Jara. Final team is going to be on the Witcher, which of course I would like to use my Light Series. But then for speed leads, that's going to be a little bit awkward. Best thing I can do is this 21 over here. I will probably outspeed this and I can hit this for the first hit, so that's already decent. And I'm thinking about just pairing double series over here. They're not going to have any speed buff in this kind of shape or way, so actually if this thing is super fast, it's going to be a little bit hard. But most of the time, this thing is paired with 2 other fast units, so I think I can just double snipe out this thing and then just bruise it out from there. Let's go into the reruning. Okay, after a whole bit of reruning, we once again got all of the sets completed. So we have the Aragon moving, well, just out of tick after this unit to give the protection. We use the 28 lead to get the crit rate up in max over here. We use this one to be decently fast, this one fast, try to snipe out the Odin, then snipe out the second life from the Odin. Over here, we're using some speed contesting. Not sure if we were to outspeed this, but if we do, we can do some work from that. Plus, we do have these 2 on pretty fast sets to start working on you right away, and hopefully you will start targeting you. Then for this one, we have pretty much a heavy bruiser setup between all 3 units. And then for the Gojo team, we have the Gojo being fast, followed up by the Itadori also being fast. And then this thing coming in a little bit later. Let's see if those teams can win on those first 5 collab teams that we're having right now. So this is actually a slower team over here. Interesting. I don't really mind you hitting that just yet. That is totally fine. So we can go for the boost. We can go for the skill 3, which potentially has stuns. Does get the stuns. In this case, I can go for cooldowns in here with shields, or I can go for cooldowns in the sense of doing this. So I think I'm going to go for this, and I'm going to start hitting on, let's say, the monkey. That's good hits already right there. That's definitely good hits. Everything is stunned right now, so I'm not really fearing anything just yet. We can go for this skill once again. We don't have the skill 3 as of yet, but we're getting pretty close to that as well. And we once again, more shields, more this, more everything, more cooldown decreases. Well, actually, your cooldown was already on the lowest part, but in this case, we don't have to use the S3 or the S2 to get the S3 up. We can just first go for the S3 and in a later rotation use the S2, which is actually pretty strong combo altogether, I would say. Give back the attack buff, give back some hits over here. I would say that this looks like something I would use on regular basis if you're fighting like just straight up bruised teams. You're not going to fight those in super high-end siege too often, but I can see the protect the Legolas comp, which this definitely is, being really strong. That actually is kind of true to the lore of Lord of the Rings as well. As protect the Legolas and then let Legolas clap everything. Okay, so in this case, we are definitely faster than this. I'm not sure if this is going to be... Why are you that freaking high on that? You just weird. Why do you have that much HP on that unit? Okay, I think in this case, I probably want to go for this. We do get a split over there, but this one, does it go? No, it always goes to the highest attack bar, right? Yeah, there was a change made at some point, but if we do this, not too bad as of yet. I don't expect any damage out of you, because you simply are crazy tanky. Can you stop being that freaking tanky, please? Also, we're not landing. Can we land stuns? Yep, spread stuns. I do like the looks of that. And then from here, that's the thing. The moment that the Light Series gets a few turns in, she's just crazy strong in Siege. She just needs like a few turns in. Well, in RTA, same thing. If she were to be easier to stack and not just being focused down at the start of the fight right away, she will be as strong as this, which is really, really darn strong. It's just hard to get her into those kind of scenarios. Okay, so we do outspeed, so let's go for this right here. That's some pretty good damage already, but I still kind of want to go for the Oblivion Strip provoke thingy. Oh no, wait, not a provoke, branding Oblivion over there. Let's take you off the horse. You are slowed, which is also good. Was kind of hoping to slow the other one. Can still land the Oblivion because the Oblivion is part of an active skill rather than a passive part. I can stun on this skill right now, but the big question is, do we stun you or do we stun you? You are definitely going to go for this right here. And stunning that is going to be hard. It is slowed right now, so that definitely helps out a little bit. This is the same skill with the irresistible. No, wait, it's irresistible. Yeah, okay, let's just send that on you because that still is a stun. And then we can kind of start working on you. Cannot spread as of right now, but also your passive doesn't work right now, which is not the greatest. So we just go in for a little bit of chomp chomps. Chomp chomps on the left, chomp chomps on the right. We do have the multi-hits in there, but you will start taking a turn right now. It's not the worst of turns just yet. Were I to say I really like this team, I'm not 100% sure yet, but the moment that this one is a good denier of turns, like the moment he gets his turns in, it's definitely not bad at all. Like if he gets a slight bit of a buff, this thing will absolutely be meta and very usable. Oh wait, if you land this as a glancing, you don't get the extra damage from the HP, but so far still working out. This team also particularly slow, so let's go for the hit over there. Let's do this to get the taunt in, which is kind of nice. And then let's just get myself some speed buff, another potential stun. Okay, actually landing that on all of these units is kind of hard for him, because this one is hard to land debuffs on as well. Sure, that's why the Zenitsu is kind of ass on defense. He starts spamming S-Force for absolutely no reasons. So that makes the unit kind of bad in the first place. Because you want to use that at a right moment, not at wrong moments. So in this case, there is revenge on this unit. He's actually managing to land those debuffs pretty well. Also, this, I think it can take it out. Yeah, this is death ignoring kind of thing, right? Yep. Plus, you have the protection from your passive itself. So I think from here, we're good to go. We're not stripping any of those because that ain't no strip. But let's just keep on bruisering. Lose your buffs, lose your life. Simple as that. That is kind of the life of the Shiho right there. So far, actually, well, I chose a relatively easier World Guild Battle defense that I could actually get some victories in, but this is looking pretty clean, and does kind of showcase if you're reruning everything, you do have good chances to actually make things work. So then the big issue is we could still lose from this point on. I kind of wanted to get, mainly the suppression in. Because of the suppression, these things actually start wasting a lot of their HP already, but we do still get a lot of annoying skills in, which does give him the chance. Oh, wait, that S1 goes through. I was checking, like, there was one skill that goes through shields and shit, right? But it's actually your S1. I was checking, like, S2 somewhere. No, can't find it. Oh, this one. That actually goes through it. That is kind of nice. Well, now we're going to see this thing probably revive all units, because that is what it tends to like to do, at least if it's a real-world guild battle thing. Stuns everything. Yep, life or death, revive everything. I knew that was coming. This thing is so bullshit, man. This thing is so bullshit. I think that Gojo has at least the S2 available, so I think we're just going to go for this. And Gojo should take this out. Yep, and now we're going to fight you again. Are you going to bring everything back to life? Not this time around. Did not manage to get the stuns in. We destroy a little bit more of HP. This thing is properly tanky, but that's also just the main thing that's... or how you want to build this unit. Can we get the suppression? Nice. Because of the suppression, if he uses a skill right now... oh, he's just going to revive everything again, because... why not? Get that shit off of me! We kill them. It's fine. No suppression used on any of those skills, but I should have maybe used it on that skill over there. But revive everything again. I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't care. We keep going. Round 4. I don't mind. So yeah, that actually worked out pretty well for all 5 of them. So let's add in the 3 remaining collabs, and let's use the 2 that were working best or will be best fit in the next World Guild Battle as well. So this one is going to be our next victim. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because we got a nasty outspeed potential over here and some other bruiser fights right there. So let's see which of the collab units I want to keep. And then also let's add in the few new ones. Okay, so I decided to keep in the Witcher, and I decided to keep in the JJK, mainly because of LDs, of course. So let's try to find the Assassin's Creed team, Cookie Run Kingdom team, and Street Fighter team. So the team of the Assassin's Creed is going to be double Cassandra, including a Dark Cassandra plus the Ezio, which I am going to be 3 lower lead, but I think I'll have to rerun a little bit to put the fastest set to this Ezio. Cookie Run Kingdom. Oh, you have a Cookie over there, so let's fight Cookie with cookies. We're gonna try this over here with the Manon, the most annoying one of the collab, and then Angela, still annoying of the collab, and then Madeline Cookie, mainly to get death breaks in onto you, so you're not gonna deal as much damage, hopefully. I don't know, I'll pray. Final team is going to be Street Fighter against the team on the bottom, which I guess we got to do with the most iconic units in the meta, with the Moore, the Carnal, and the Douglas. Funny enough, I don't have any Street Fighter units. I just noticed I don't have a Bison, I don't have a Ryu, I don't have a nothing. All of them are the original Summoners War unit. I guess I did not spend that much back in these days. Let's go for the rerun. These are going to be the runes. Some kind of weird defensive set over there. Tanky set over there. Try to tank this set over there. That's probably the hardest one out there that I have. We have a pretty fast set with the 235 over here on you. Followed up by you on this pair for pushbacks. And then you for sniping something out. Preferably I would have sniped 2 units, but you know, I can't really do that. Oh, and then I still forgot to rune this. So let me quickly rune up this. Well, this one is super easy. That's what we just use. Whatever is in World Guild Battle. So for these, we're just gonna be playing full into the additional damage artifacts with those kind of runes over there. And yes, this is a Vio set that is broken with blade and everything along those lines. So let's get going. I think that this one might be a little bit more for troublesome right there. But let's see how this works out. So we do get that skill. We do get a counter. Not fully counter. Okay, that could kind of hurt. Okay, we do get a cleanse in on half of it. That is a little bit. Okay, we go for a little bit of this. Okay, so far so good-ish. Especially with the part of ish. Manon, you're allowed to start doing a little bit more. I would appreciate that. Let's get stuns in on you. Maybe I should have actually went for the stun on you instead. Because this thing is the thing that can hit pretty darn hard. But let's just start taking out you first. Manon is also pretty good on damage, okay? Did not crit, which is pretty good for me. Stun over there, I like that. Did not kill it. Did not brand it. That's good. That's good. Can we get random hit on this? Nope. Okay, small bit of hit over there. That's still fine. Good death break over there. Manon is still pretty decent, annoying unit. Definitely you don't want to be focusing on the odds of the chances of the unit as much anymore. But wait, I got a massive shield from this thing though. That's, well, it's like triple HP right now on the build with high speed sub. So that's where you get a lot of these kind of stats from. If we death break it, you have no more damage output as much, and you probably start killing yourselves on reflex right now. Hey, yay, nice, okay. Seemingly the team that I thought is gonna be worst did work out pretty well. Manon is still high on damage. Okay, so in this case, we're operation killing this thing twice and putting the Oblivion on you. That's the main thing that we're aiming for. And why is, okay, this thing is just, maybe that's not really the right play as well. Highest attack bars, I think we still rather do this. And sure, you will get the buffs right now, which is not really beneficial, but let's hope it doesn't hit too hard. Did hit kind of hard, but so do we over there. This thing, it does have a speed buff right now, so we're not going to be hitting as hard on it right now. Okay. We are stacking a little bit. Yep, did work out, did work out. That was close, though. I don't really recommend using this altogether. Like, please use an Adriana next to this, but that's overlapping collapse, and I was not planning to do that. But once again, it shows this thing is just crazy strong if it gets a few turns in. I really like... Light Series is probably my most liked siege unit at the moment for a pretty long time already. So... let's go for this. Do land all of this. Let's go for this skill right here. And we do get the stun on the one unit we don't push back. That's actually perfect right there. I think I'm gonna be taking out you with this S2. And then I think we just go for a double S1 to kill you. I already killed it, and I kill you not as much, but did work out in general. Also, one of those teams I would not really recommend to use exactly in this kind of way, but that can kind of work. We full outspeed, and there are no will runes. I always like the looks of that. So we do get ourselves a little bit of an attack break shenanigans over there, but we get some pushbacks and that good stuff. And I just really like suppression in Siege, because the moment you hit suppression and they start doing any skills, like, oh, they did a skill, he's 1 HP. Oh, he did a skill, he's 1 HP. Ah, he's already dead. Like, that kind of stuff. Suppression is just super strong. So Nobara is actually a unit I should be using more in Siege, because it's just super strong for that. Okay, we do outspeed these over there. That's good. Let's also go for some slow shenanigans. Not that much of slows. Does get the hit off over there. I have 2.4k attack on that unit. Thank you very much. Whatever. Douglas sometimes is... we saw it in the Summoners War European League yesterday as well. Douglas sometimes is like, yeah, is a Douglas. He can kind of do it. But sometimes he's like, nah, is a 50%er. We don't really want to do those 50%ers. It's fine. But he should be having a lot of those random hits right here. Also, you will permanently be targeting that. So at some point, you should start countering. Same with these hits. Okay, I guess he doesn't really like to counter at all. So that definitely seems to be the thing. Okay, we do get a stun in on that. We do get stuns in on that. Start hitting this one so you can get countered. Thank you. Okay, and take it out. Nice. Kind of an interesting defense in the first place. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not really the best neither. Attack breaking myself. Okay. Nearly losing you in the process. That thing does... Can we? Yes. Can we, Douglas, the Douglas, can you pretend like you want to be a Douglas? Something like that. Well, okay. We will make it work. We'll make it work. So in the end, all 10 of them did actually win. But then the big question remains, which one did I feel like was strongest? Well, for some, I have some more LDs. For some, I have some less LDs. So I'm going to be ranking those from top to bottom in which order I liked them most. So I would actually say that for me, well, to be honest, I gotta do it, man. It's the Light Gojo. Even though in RTA meta currently is not feeling the strongest out there, it's still, for me, the JJK. There are a lot of cool units to it. Sure, the Megumi is a little bit hated, but it has most of the meta units out there with also Nobaras and those kind of things. And a lot of the other units you can use in niche scenarios elsewhere. Then second on the list for me, I think I would go for Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer also added in a whole bunch of cool units with the Zenitsus. I really wouldn't mind a Dark Zenitsu in the current hardcore stunning meta. It's definitely a unit that picked up a lot of pace right there. And besides that, there's also a whole bunch of cool units to the Demon Slayer collab. I would also say Lord of the Rings collab. I think the Lord of the Rings collab is actually really good. For the LDs, there's a whole bunch of good LDs. Most of the net 5s, even like half of the net 5s are usable somewhere here or there, which is definitely a really nice thing out there. Then I would have to give it to Street Fighters. In the end, they have been on meta for a super long time with the Moore, the Douglas. Even Kashmir made it to the meta for a little bit of time to counter light Hwarangs. There's a lot of stuff to it that actually makes it pretty dope, so I think that they are pretty solid as well. Then I'm kind of in the midst between what is gonna come after that. I would say I kind of like the Tekken 8 units because of light Hwarang, but it's mainly light Hwarang. The other ones... well, Firepole is nice, Light Jin is nice, there's a few units nice here, niche there, but not as much. Same for the Assassin's Creed. I do have the Ian, I do have the Kiara, those are really good in Siege, but outside of Siege, they are not that crazy. But still, I think I'll give it to the Assassin's Creed, followed by the Tekken, followed by the Witcher, followed by this one over here with Cookie Run Kingdom. Yes, Cookie Run Kingdom did give Adriana, which is a very commonly used unit. But I wouldn't mind if Adriana gets a bit of a nerf, because it's dominating the Siege meta a little bit too much. Plus for the looks, if we're looking by the looks of all of the characters and kind of things, I think that this would be my order as well of what I liked for looks. Then again, this is a super biased list, and I think your guys' list is going to be very different. So let me know in the comments if you agree, or what is your favorite to least favorite on those collabs, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.